Okay guys, getting into the front of the INFINITI QX80, apologies for the wind, but here we have this really incredible interior for this INFINITI QX80 Autographc. We have these really nice seats here. This is the burgundy leather seats we're going to be getting in this Autographc trim. So we have the nice Autographc script up here, and we also get these impressive looking Klipsch audio speakers in your headrest over here with this really nice metal inlay over it. I think this is a really gorgeous look for your headrest, but let's hop inside and check out this interior. Side step is pretty easy to access and get into. Pretty nice solid door thunk as well. And check out this all new interior from INFINITI. This is not only a big step in the right direction for INFINITI in terms of interior technology, but also quality and design, because they've kind of been stuck in a little bit of the past in terms of their interiors. But this is a huge step forward. So let's find our start stop button, which is located right over here in the center, and bring it to life. Check out that new launch animation we have here, and this is an all new INFINITI QX80's interior. And let me tell you, lots of stuff to talk about here, so let's dive in real quick. So up front here, everything's pretty much all new, part of this INFINITI's Artistry in motion design language here. And this is their new monolithic, as they call it, screen layout here. So these two 14+ inch displays kind of mashed together in this one giant piece up here. It's a really commanding view. But before we even get to this technology, the materials and quality of this interior is also really impressive. The seats themselves, very comfortable, like I mentioned, Autographc logo on top as well. And we have lots of adjustments for the seats as well that are all located down here. So we have massage, we have lumbar support, we have side bolster adjustment, and lots of stuff to go. And even pressing this button to turn on our massage, we can see we can come to the center console here and adjust our massage settings as well. So lots of fun features there, as well as for the second row as well. So lots of luxury on the Autographc trim. Now this is also an all new steering wheel for INFINITI. I would say it's a little bit big and chunky, but it's also quite comfortable to hold. Feels very nice wrapped in leather. And these are real metal inlays over here with this nice gunmetal look, and that INFINITI design that we're seeing on the front grille as well. So really nice touch there. The rest of the steering wheel I think is also quite nice. You can see we have paddle shifters on here, as well as our driver monitor over here for our Pro Pilot Assist system. On the left-hand side of the steering wheel here, we have all of those controls for that Pro Pilot Assist 2.2 system, so it really works pretty well. And over here is where how we can control our multifunctional display over here, so we can actually change this to a few different designs, so it doesn't just have to be this circle layout. We can bring it all the way down here to customize display. We can pick through 3 different meter views, and dynamic is their newer style design one here that I think we're going to see more standard, as well as this enhanced view as well. But lots of different views here on the INFINITIs. And cluster over here, we also have a heads-up display as well. Coming over to the left-hand side, we have all of our nice controls over here. Nice button quality. I think they all feel quite nice. Lots of stuff here. Power mirrors, we have memory seats, as well as our steering assist, lane keep assist, auto stop start, turn on and off our heads-up display, as well as auto hold will be located right next to your emergency brake on the left-hand side over there. The materials in here, like I said, are also fantastic. This wood trim over here, open pore wood with these metal inlays, are a really nice touch. Our ambient light strip really nicely integrated into here as well. And that leather is covering the entire door panels. And these armrests over here are super squishy for your elbows. I think it's a really nice point to kind of focus on over there. Same thing goes over here. So we have not only storage underneath, but we also have a nice padding over here for your knees, so they don't kind of hit any hard points there. So I do like that touch. And storage continues to increase over here from a wireless charger port over here with 2 USB-C ports, as well as 2 cup holders over here as well. And popping open this center console here reveals the cool box over here. So you can actually turn on this cool box and it will get super cold for you if you want to keep some drinks or something cool. It's a little bit loud, I would say, even when it is closed, but it's a nice feature to have in a $100,000 plus luxury truck. I will say though that these 2 panels sometimes get a little bit annoying when you're trying to activate some controls, because as you can see, I can just rest my arm in there and it does pop open. Same thing happens with this cup holder side over here. So this might be a design worth reconsidering in the future, INFINITI, but right now I think it looks quite nice, especially all wrapped in leather. Also, we have that metal inlays over here with the wood all across our dash with ambient lighting, and it looks really cool in here at night with all of this unique design that INFINITI has baked into this interior, even with their INFINITI logo right on the right-hand side over here near the passenger, and it illuminates at night. So it's really cool design elements we're seeing in here. We also have a digital rear view camera that you can turn on and off as well, with lots of adjustment, as well as an interior camera and drive recorder. So there's a camera up front and in the back of your INFINITI that work as a dash cam actually. So you can use that all the time where you're driving. It'll store it locally on the vehicle as well. And of course, that's going to be a really helpful feature if you don't want to have to go out and buy a dash cam to have installed into your Infiniti. It also works as a selfie cam as well for you. So that's a really nice touch. And the camera quality is generally quite high. And speaking of camera quality, one new thing that this Infiniti QX80 is debuting is not only a whole bunch of incredible camera systems here. So we have the typical 3D view. We can also go to this really wide angle view where we have a view of both of our front wheels, a super front wide angle view, as well as that kind of projected road underneath the vehicle view that will go, they'll show the road underneath the vehicle in this really cool layout here. But what's really interesting here is you can actually make this fit both screens. This is what they're calling an industry first here. I'm not sure how exactly helpful it is in all situations, but it's definitely something unique and no one else seems to have done it yet. And this also works for this really wide angle camera as well. So you can have it projected on both displays. So you're really getting a nice view of the front of your vehicle. You can also have location pinpoints on here to add on if you want this camera to activate at certain location points, maybe for a garage or a driveway or something where you want to have a nice front view of your Infiniti QX80. Other than that, there's still so much we need to dive about in this interior, especially how you can control this display right here. So we have a physical volume knob right here, which is nicely integrated into our air vents, and as well as track forward and reverse buttons as well. But the really interesting thing is, while you're sitting here, sometimes if you want to sit a little bit further back, I can't reach this display, which I think is a little bit dangerous while driving. So thankfully, Infiniti invented a way, well, I wouldn't say invented, but they've kind of come up with a new solution to this that we've seen on some Mercedes products, and I think Lucid's about to start doing this as well, is where you can use this control to access both this display and this display. Though what I found in process is that it's a little bit more confusing than that. Sometimes I found that a double press is really how you kind of get between these two displays. So right now you can see it's activated on this side, so now I can use the scroll wheel to kind of access this lower menu. I can pop up here and kind of scroll through all of these menus over here. But you'll see in a second is that not everything is actually accessible via this little dial here. So the second I go into settings, the steering wheel control can no longer be used to control any of these settings over here, which I think is a little bit of a oversight. I'm not sure why you can't control the settings with the steering wheel control. Hopefully a software update can fix that, but I think that would be really nice to do, because there's a lot of stuff in the settings that you can actually do with this vehicle that you might not want to be doing via touch all the time. Otherwise, you can just press this button to go back, and then you're controlling your center display over here as well, which is really nice as well. You can put maps in here. Apple Maps also projects up here as well when you have that turned on with Apple CarPlay, which of course is wireless. But I think this could use a little bit more of some redesigning to make it a little bit more intuitive. It also works within Apple CarPlay to kind of scroll through everything as well. But a little bit of a learning curve, I'd say, for that one. Now, that also goes to with the menus in the vehicle. There are menus everywhere. Stuff is littered throughout these settings, on the settings up here. I wish all the stuff would be a little bit more generally laid out. Just for example, to kind of control your ambient lighting, you have to go through so many menus. Thankfully, they came up with a little bit of a shortcut display to kind of get to recently used app, like my interior lights, for example, so I can just go to that without having to hop through so many menus. And thankfully, you have over like 64 colors to choose from for this interior ambient lighting. You can just see how many areas of the vehicle it does include. So it's a lot of nice ambient lighting in this interior. I think it really looks really premium at night. And since this is a Google-based system, you can go to the Google Play Store. You can download fun apps like the Fireplace, for example, where I think this is a nice touch to have. You're sitting on a road trip or at a rest stop or something, and it's cold out, turn the heat on. That'd be a fun thing to do. You also have TV and shows and things you can watch in here, which is really, really impressive. So again, if you're at a rest stop or something, you can watch those. But since this isn't really an electric vehicle, I guess it doesn't make too much sense. So if you're charging, that would be really useful. You can even load up a YouTube browser as well, and the full web browser to kind of search up whatever you want in here. So it has that full integration in here. Generally, I think it's a really nice system. Definitely could use some more work to kind of make it a little bit more refined. The voice assistant, I'd say, really isn't really super impressive. It's just a Google Assistant, and it doesn't have access for things for like climate controls and things, at least on this particular system and version that we're having in this Tesla right now. Because I could say right now, hey Google, I'm hot.
Maybe you'd like to go swimming.
I would like you to actually go change my climate controls, which it can do in some other vehicles. And speaking of the climate controls, it's right located down here in this separate screen here. And it's a big chunky screen. There's no storage behind it whatsoever. So it's kind of taking up quite a bit of space in this center console area over here. And it's a haptic panel as well. So if you listen closely, you kind of feel like that haptic feedback when you're touching it, which I quite like. But as you can see here, you can't just touch the buttons. You do have to really put some force into them to get them working, which I think is honestly quite fine. You can see we control our front area here as well as our rear area over here. But please note, in the back, no dual zone. It's just one climate setting over here. Up front here, we have dual temperature control, but no dual fan control. We also have heated and ventilated seats up front as well. And of course, only the rear passengers are getting that cool biometric cooling system. I'm not sure why they couldn't implement that for the front passengers. They could have just thrown another sensor right over here. So I guess if you're sitting in the back, you have even more luxurious features than front passengers at this point in the QX80. We also have a drive mode screen over here. So all of these different drive modes we can access, as well as our air suspension controls, which for some reason the air suspension controls also get a physical button, but it's also in here. Not sure why we really needed that. There's also only a camera button here, but no other really camera button in the screen. That will be located up here. So like I said, things are kind of littered all over the place throughout these systems, but I think generally it's pretty easy to find. We have all-wheel drive auto and 4-high. This is a kind of full-time automatic all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive system at the end of the day that kind of manages itself. But I haven't really been able to find some really off-road style features like hill descent control or stuff in here. We can also fold down the rear seats through this menu here, which is a really cool function. So if you go to seats in the settings here, let's see, power folding rear seats, and you can actually pick which of these seats you can do at a time. So I could do these 3, for example, and fold them up or down, or I could just do these side or this side. So this is a really cool feature over here. I've seen this option in some other vehicles, but to do it like this, I honestly have not seen this feature. So this is pretty cool. You can just kind of select which seats you want to fold up and down. You can only do this while you're stopped, but nonetheless, I think it's a nice luxury feature to have if you don't want to go to the back of your Infiniti to do just so. And at the end of the day, there are so many settings and options throughout these menus. You honestly spend like a week just kind of adjusting the vehicle to your own personal profiles. And you can have multiple of those profiles as well in this infotainment system as well. So it's a really cool feature. But nonetheless, there's just an endless amount of luxury and features in this Infiniti QX80 that I think I found quite impressive over the course of this week. And generally, you know, it's a lot to get used to, I think, over time, but you will, I think, get used to it and start learning how all this vehicle works to you and as it adapts to you over time as well. Also, forgot to mention, we also still have a glove box in this vehicle, which is felt lined, very comfortable, and nice touching as well. And I think I have to say the carpets of this car are really quite nice as well. They have a nice deep thickness to them, and the Infiniti badge on the carpets themselves is also quite nice. And I almost forgot to mention we have our Klipsch audio system in here. Now, another great feature with this Infiniti QX80 Autographc is that it has this honestly quite incredible 24 speaker Klipsch audio surround sound system here. And wow, is it actually impressed me over the course of driving this week. And there are speakers literally everywhere in this vehicle, from the headrest to the roof to the multiple on the doors, on the dash. They're everywhere. So let's explore the audio settings before we actually get into the speaker system just a second. So I'm going to attempt to get over to my audio settings here. Oh dear, it doesn't seem to be working. So we're gonna go over to general. I believe it's in sound and beeps, and we can see sound here. I wish I could use my scroll wheel to kind of adjust these on the fly, but unfortunately I cannot, because Nissan and Infiniti do not allow you to, for whatever which reason. And so we have a few different typical adjustments. We have bass, middle, trebs, all that stuff. But we can also adjust our dynamic audio reveal in 3 different settings, from medium, low, and high. And we also have audio stages as from front, rear, and all. And we also have our DJX surround, as well as a DJX 3D surround option, and individual audio settings. So there are plenty of things to play around with and adjust to your liking within the QX80's audio system with this Klipsch system. And I honestly have to say, all of the different modes generally sound really good. Very crisp, clear audio as well. So I've been really impressed with that over the course of this week of driving. Alright guys, so that was a little quick taste of our Klipsch reference audio system in here. Lots of adjustment. We can have different individualized zone control. We have all of those different kind of 3D and surround sound settings as well within the system. So really incredible control. And I have to say, I've experienced quite a few vehicles nowadays that have these kind of speakers within the headrest. Some of these speakers and the headrest that I've experienced really kind of, you hear it, and not in a necessarily good way. It sounds a little bit like a cheaper speaker in the headrest they shoved there, and that's not the case in this vehicle at all. This is a nice quality speaker behind you, and I know that because you don't directly hear it in your ears. It's working to kind of create that surround experience for you, and I think they've adjusted the volume levels in a certain way that it just works fantastically with the rest of this 24 speaker system. So I have to say, I was just out of the Ram 1500 tungsten that had also had an all new kind of Klipsch style audio system. I didn't really like it that much, actually. I'm going to be completely honest. It just wasn't, it didn't feel crisp enough. It didn't feel well put together in terms of being integrated within the vehicle, the body of the vehicle. It sounded a little bit, some vibrations around here. I hear none of that in this QX80. This feels like a higher end system to me personally. Now, coming into the rear seats of the all-new INFINITI QX80, you're going to find a really and truly incredible space that I think really matches up to par with a lot of big luxury SUVs in this segment. We have these incredible captain's chairs back here with this unique Autographc-inspired burgundy leather interior with this nice quilting, but these chairs are a lot more than just nice to sit in. They also have power adjustment. I can move myself forward and recline as well with these power controls on the side of the seat, or I can actually go to this touchscreen in the center control panel, and this is where I can actually control my heated, ventilated, and massaging seat functions for this second row captain's chair seat over here. Really impressive stuff, and it can all be controlled from this center console display over here. You also have two big cup holders right over here in the center console, as well as this truly massive center storage space back here, which closes and reveals two USB-C ports, but there are also an additional two USB-C ports in this front little center console area over here, and this is where you're going to find your second zone climate control systems. You can also access your heated and ventilating seat options from over here, though there is no split dual zone system in the second row, just one set of climate controls. Otherwise, I think it's a really fantastic space. The carpeting even is really thick and plush with the INFINITI logo in it, and you have even more storage underneath the sides over here. So really nice stuff in the back of this INFINITI QX80, and just even on the door panels, they match exactly what we're seeing in the front end. This gorgeous wood trim with these metal inlays. We have ambient lighting strips, these really nice metal speaker grills for our Klipsch reference premier audio system, and really comfortable armrests as well. They're very thickly padded, and as well as some more additional storage on the sides of our doors over there. Now let's see how this third row is and how easy it is to get in and out of it. And as well as a rear passenger, we can see we have our climate control systems here, but we also have something called biometric cooling. So if you look right there, there's an infrared sensor that's actually looking at me and my other passenger over here who would be sitting here, and it will adjust the climate accordingly if we get too hot or too cold based on our body temperature. So that's a pretty cool touch, as well as our heated and ventilated seats. So there's a lot of nice climate adjustments happening for this second row area. Now, what about getting into the third row of your all-new INFINITI QX80? Well, thankfully, that's a really easy process, even with these second row captain's chairs we have here. On the top of our chair, we have a little bit of a button that you press once, and it automatically does the operation to move the seat forward for me, and it's honestly quite quick to get in and out, so really not worried about that, and it goes pretty far up. We have a two-step style process here with these side steps in here, and I can climb in pretty easily. And wow, this is actually a really nice rear seat area. While I'm talking, I'm going to put this seat back so it locks back into place, and you'll see how much legroom I have. But I'm 6 feet tall, and I fit back here perfectly fine. My head is touching the ceiling, but just ever so slightly. I have nice lighting up here, and I can actually sit here comfortably, and the second row passenger is not cramped either, so I actually like that. And as a third row passenger, I actually have a heated seat, and the seat is also power reclining as well. So if you don't have a lot of cargo in that rear trunk behind the third row, I can recline my third row seat as well via a button on the side. I also got my own USB-C port on each side back here, and two cup holders for each side as well. So these are some of the nicest third row seats that I've honestly ever sat in, and I think this is going to be a really big reason to be considering the all-new INFINITI QX80, because you're getting almost all the same nice luxury features as the second and first row passengers are getting, and you even have your own vent on each side to make sure you're not being suffocated back here. We have nice big windows as well to kind of see out of, so getting out is probably just as easy as getting in. And honestly, this second row passenger can even move up even further back because I had that much leg and foot room back here. So really impressive in INFINITI. Getting out is also not that difficult. We have an arm holder over here if you want to hand on, but it's pretty easy to just get out.